What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Melvor Idle, and today we're going to take another look at Township. God, I've made a ton of videos on this so far. So I've had time to sit and digest the Township changes we've got, and I just wanted to throw some thoughts down about it. I've got some positives. I do have a few negatives to it, but largely, like, this is 99% positive. I love the way they've done this. So first and foremost, I think this seems to be well received. I have not looked on anything like Reddit or Discord or Twitter or anything like that, but I feel like this is much better received, and that's because I'm down to one complaint on my videos instead of a lot of complaining. And I don't really have any complaints myself, so I feel like this is very well done, and it's been very well received. One person still didn't really care for the way they've done this, but you know, it is what it is. You're not going to please everybody. So when my standard account and my hardcore account were all full 120, all the stuff built, everything was good to go. And for the most part, this translated over when they converted my town from what I used to have to what I do now was mostly done. There was a couple of buildings in the snowlands I had to build, maybe some other stuff here and there, but I think, and I don't have that on this is just a test character here. I'm not playing this character. I just started something and did a little bit here and there so that I could build some money up and just look at how Township is at the beginning and then make this video from it. So I started this yesterday and kind of got it started and go in this direction. But let's see. I had a few buildings. I feel like somebody was saying that the desert was the only one that had the rune essence buildings, the magic emporiums or whatever they are. And I feel like they've added some to the snowlands or something, but I thought I looked at the patch notes and I haven't seen one that showed up. So either I missed it or it was patched in. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the converting ticks over, the legacy ticks over was well done. I made the mistake of clicking all on my standard account and just basically decimated my town. It took a while to get that back because of the rune essence situation, because I wasn't getting any or enough. And I have some complaints about that whole process that we'll get to. But for the most part, I think this has been a very well done rework. If I was to describe Township now, it would be a little bit of astrology, because you can go, you're not pinned into picking, how can I say this? The way Township was before, you could just randomly pick whatever buildings and it didn't really matter. You could go get spreadsheets. It would tell you the best possible blah, blah for XP or this or for this resource or for that or for gold or whatever it was. This one, we're all going to end up with the same buildings, which is the way astrology is. How you build the buildings and what order you put everything in differs from person to person, what you prioritize or whatever, but you're all going to end up in the same place. So I would describe it like astrology in that regard, because that's how astrology is. But it's also kind of like farming, where it just kind of goes in the background. You can ignore it for a while, and then you come back to it. There can be negatives to this. You can't kill your town, but your town's production will go down. You won't gain as much XP as quickly. Your gold will go down, things like that. So you want to keep it healthy and in repair and all that good stuff, which is fine. But I think this is fairly well done. And, you know, it's a mixture of astrology, farming, and say even maybe the raid a little bit in the way that it works, kind of. So I've dug all that. Let's see here. I like the casual tasks. I like how these are done. These are pretty cool. You add these in here. And there's been some interesting ones. I saw somebody on Reddit posted something about having to go kill Ragnar with a slingshot, which I thought was funny. The one that I got that was funny was killing the ancient dragon with like the very basic wizard wand, which I found that one in my adventure account. So I went ahead and did it. I'm like, this sounds cool. So I went and did it, and it was surprisingly easier than I thought. So that was kind of cool. I dig those tasks. And let's see here. What are we going to talk about next? The Throne of the Herald tasks. So we've got these added into here, which is a nice additional option. So you can do easy, normal, hard, very hard, elite, all those, but there's no level requirements or any other requirements to using these. So what the cool thing is, on my adventure account, I can now get into the expansion. I have it opened up enough to where I can get into there. So I can start turning these tasks in, like the Elderwood. I'm ready to go. I'm not quite at Meteorite, I don't think, but like I could start saving up the gems that I get. I could start saving up these herbs. I can work on rune crafting if I wanted. Like, I can't do the combat stuff just yet, but I could start turning these in. So the point is, I may not be able to get into some of these elite tasks just yet, like the antique vases or enough of these rings or whatever, or, defeating some of the bosses or some of the more difficult stuff. Like, I haven't even unlocked these creatures down here yet, but, well, maybe I have. But regardless, you can actually complete township tasks that are in the expansion once you can unlock that equipment, or once you can unlock the ability to craft, smith, woodcut, whatever it is. You can do those instead of some of these other tasks and get your numbers you need, which I will also point out, this is something I didn't catch the first time either. They've changed this. So if you go into Township, they've actually removed the training tasks. That's what the casual tasks have replaced. So they've taken 14 of the completed 14 tasks out, because you had, I think it was 14 to 2 at the beginning. So if you restart a town, you had to do the training tasks, and then you got 14 that counted towards the 80 or 104 or whatever it was you needed for the total. And then to buy stuff out of the shop, let's qualify that, to buy stuff out of the shop. So they've removed those 14 and added 20 of the Throne of the Herald. So they've also, if you go into here, they've reduced how many township tasks you need to complete to actually buy these pieces. Like, these boots used to be 94, I think, and they're down to 60. So you only need 20 for the hat, 40 for the body, 40 for the, 60 for the legs, and then 80 for the woodcutters, or 80 for the boots, because they're all in here. They've also dropped you have to buy these tokens to fully upgrade all of the pieces. So if you have to buy all the hats out, and then you buy a token, and you can upgrade the hat into the upgraded version of the hat, which encompasses all of them. So anyway, this was 114, I think, or something like that. They've reduced 115, whatever it was. They've reduced this down to 95. So the total requirements to buy all of this gear has reduced, and they've reduced the amount of tasks that are in here. They've actually increased the amount of tasks, but reduced all the requirements on that end. Whatever I'm saying, you get it. It's easier to buy the stuff in there, and it's easier to get more tasks because you can do Throne of the Herald and things like that. So anyway, that was kind of cool. The other thing I like about this is much more of an active skill. Like in the old town, the big complaint that I had with Township before was you just kind of did stuff, and when you run out of ticks, you just wait for a day or two or a month or whatever. You had to wait a long period of time, and then you could advance it further. It was a lot of downtime just completely avoiding and ignoring the thing, and I didn't like that. That I thought sucked. I did not like ignoring a skill. But I'd forget it was there. And this one you have to actually go and change. One minor complaint is that, you're used to farming and Township being in this list down here. Now all of a sudden it's up here, and you have to remember to go check Township as well as farming. So farming puts a big blinky sign. You log in, farming says, I got something for you to check. Township doesn't do that. Your town might need healed, it might need repaired, but it doesn't blink. So you have to remember to go check it. And then remember to look where it's at because it's moved. That's kind of been a little bit of an annoyance in there. Let's see here. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we've talked about all the different positives and stuff. So I don't really have a good feel for how Township works now, and that's why I started this character here. It's not a character I'm going to play. It's just one that I started. I put some fishing on to make some money, and so that I can do things in here and just kind of look at it and see how it goes from the beginning of the game. I do like how they have the little hammer telling me that I can go build stuff. That's great. I wish there was an alternate one that showed that things needed repaired. They don't have that. That's one complaint. Another complaint that I have is in the repair process altogether. If you don't have the materials to repair something, you cannot use the repair all button. So like if any of this stuff is red, say I'm missing clothing, I'm looking here, but I'm actually talking about the repair all line. So if I were to click on this here, water, there's something that needs repaired here, and it's going to cost me 260 gold, which is my pocket, not the Township pocket. It's going to cost me 30 wood from the town and 22 minerals from the town. All right, fine. The problem is if there's something in here that requires food or rune essence. Rune essence is the one that's been really bothering me, but I do run into running out of food or whatever. So you've got your town storage. If you run low on one of these things, it means that you cannot click these buttons. And I think that's terrible design. It is very painful to have to go through here and click on every single biome and then click on every single building to repair in that biome. Because here's the scenario. I'm on my standard account or hardcore account or whatever that has all the biomes unlocked, all the buildings unlocked, everything's built, everything is done. All I have to do is go repair things. No big deal. The problem comes if you click on one that's like this that has all these different buildings and you're on mobile. Even on PC, you have to go click on every single one of them because, okay, if you click on arid plains, you can click the repair all in this biome if everything can be repaired. Then you click on the valley and repair all works. Then you click on the swamp, repair all doesn't work. Repair all in this biome, I should say, does not work because you're missing some of the materials to fix some of the buildings. So maybe your fishing dock can't be repaired, but the hunter's cabin and the gatherer's cabin can. Problem is repair all in this biome doesn't work. So you have to go click here, click here. Great. Well, if you get into one that looks like the grasslands where there's a whole bunch of stuff, which some of these get very full, you have to click on every single one of these that can be repaired manually. And on mobile, that really sucks because when you click on the repair button, it scrolls you to the top. And then you scroll all the way back to the bottom. Click the next repair button. It scrolls you back to the top. So if the wooden huts can't be repaired, but all these other buildings can, you have to click through every single one of these. You cannot use the repair all or the repair all in this biome, which blows. It's a lot of extra clicking. It's not bad on PC. It's annoying, but it sucks on mobile. And yes, I know you can, I'm pretty sure there's an option to disable that auto scroll, but where the auto scroll is useful is in like summoning. If I want to go make a summoning mark, or if I want to go make something in summoning, I scroll all the way to the bottom, bottom of the list, click on what I want. It automatically moves you back to the top so you can click create. That's the purpose of it. The problem is in Township, if you click on that biome, scroll all the way to the bottom and click repair, it scrolls you back to the top for no reason. It's there for other skills, but it affects Township and it's not a pleasant experience. What I would propose if they could do it, which I don't see why they can't. What I don't understand is why you can't click repair all and it repairs everything it can. There's a difference between repair all and repair all that you can. If this has any red in it, either one of these two repair options, you can't click them. They don't work. They only work when this is green across the board. At the moment, at the time I'm recording this, that's all they do. And it's unfortunate because it adds all that extra labor and it's very frustrating to go through and deal with that. So that's been a problem that I've had there. I'd also, like I mentioned, I'd like a repair indicator. Which one of these needs repairs? Like, which one can I go and repair? This one here has repairs because it lights up. If I click on this one, there's no repairs. I haven't built any buildings here. So, there's no repair all. I like the indicator that shows that I can build things, but that's not always accurate either because sometimes I found where I could build something that the little hammer doesn't show up on. So a little bit of tweaking there would be nice. In the task options, there's a couple of problems with this. I think, now don't quote me on this, but I think this skip task button used to be over here. And I think it sat right underneath the claim rewards button. And I accidentally clicked that once. I believe they've patched it over to here. I haven't paid enough attention to it, but I know I clicked that button on accident and now it's over here. So maybe enough people complained and it got moved over. I would like the ability to toggle this to just go away because I don't foresee a situation where I would ever skip a task. I just ignore them and move on. And this might be the better option if you're going to leave that button there, put a confirmation on it. If I just click that on my standard account, it just goes away. There's no confirmation. But there is a toggle for farming. Like if I want to kill, if I have something planted and I click, delete this, it prompts me. And there's a disable for that button. So you can turn that prompt on and off. But this really needs a prompt whether you do that. Again, at the time of recording, that doesn't exist. Let's see what else we got here. The other one that I saw was somebody, I actually have been reading a little bit on Reddit. I saw somebody complain about this. If you have, let's say you have damage reduction 4 potions and this thing wants 1,000 of them, but you've got 1,005. You don't want to get rid of those, but you want to do another township task. You have no way to skip that. Again, at the time of recording, as far as I know, if you have the materials for turning one in, you can turn it in, but you can't skip it. So it'd be nice to be able to skip tasks even if you have the materials. So that'd be a nice option to have. One other major complaint that I had, and this was kind of a real annoying problem. It took a while to figure out. If you're looking at this screen right now, there's no way to change the worship. It took me a while to figure this one out. I didn't really change worship before. I don't think the toggles changed. I just never used it, so I never knew where it was. But if I look at this, I don't know how to change the deity. And one of the things that you can do is change the deity. And I know you can do it, but there's no obvious way from this screen here. This is the default screen that you see. There's no way to change the deity. Like you can click up here on worship. I would expect you to click on worship and change it, or there'd be a button up here next to it or something. Where you find it is in anything but this center one. So you click on all or this, and it shows you the option right there. If it's on all, it shows the town information at the bottom, but you default to this, and then you don't see it anywhere. And it's kind of in an odd place. Like here, you have to go into that information. It just feels odd to have to go there. It's probably not something you're going to change very often, but it's in such an odd place. It's just not obvious to find. But speaking of that, we have some nice elemental, or how should I say this? There's some interesting elemental effects depending on which god you choose. So if we were to change to like Eris or whatever, Eris, where's that at? This I thought was kind of cool. Positive worship modifiers are increased during spring. Glacia is winter because it's, ice and that kind of thing. Terran is fall for your nature or whatever. And then Ragnar is summer, which is your fire god and all that. So I thought that was kind of cool. Air for spring, water for winter, earth for fall, and fire for summer. I thought that was a good way of tying all that together. I kind of wish, these are locked out unless you defeat them. I kind of wish there was another option between Nun and Eris of like just general worship. And you could only pick Eris, Glacia, Terran, or Ragnar once you actually defeated them. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. Maybe once you defeat them, you get a free change to them. And then if you wanted to change after that, it would be $50 million. But I kind of wish that was something like that because I feel like this just gives you these 4, whereas you have to unlock these 2. It feels like these should unlock also. But that's minor. That's not really a complaint. That's just something I looked at this and thought, that'd be kind of cool. Bane and the Herald actually unlock some kind of interesting things here. You get a chance for Nightfall with, I can't remember which one it is. One's Nightfall and one's a solar eclipse. So the Nightfall, you get township, 100% township ore, bar, herb, and potion, and a minus 50% interval, and it's 20% chance to get Nightfall. So you kind of got to be watching for it and then catch it when it happens and take advantage of it. At that time, though, you get minus 50% township food production and happiness. So there is a negative to it, but you gain on ore, or the ore production, bar production, herb production, potion production, and astrology interval. So if you're working on that and you get that Nightfall, it's going to give you a lot of bonuses with that. With the solar eclipse one, it's also a 20% chance, but you get 200% township happiness, 200% township education, and minus 1% monster respawn timer. So if you're working on monster tasks, you probably want to pick the solar eclipse. I can't remember which one's which now, but those are kind of cool. For a fresh account. Now this is not going to be like any kind of guide or anything. This is just maybe some general recommendations. If you're playing on standard or hardcore, I would go ahead and pick a deity and just get township rolling, let the history build up. But if you're on adventure mode, I don't know where I would put township in. I would put it in early, but like would I pick it over thieving? In the past, I probably would have started it as soon as possible to get the ticks building up, but we don't have a tick system anymore. And it costs you to buy buildings and do things, but you do gain levels and money and whatever else as the thing runs in the background. So I would want this started early, but I would still probably take thieving or something like that. For an adventure account, I would probably get thieving opened earlier, the very first skill I'd unlock, or maybe another combat or whatever. But this would not be as high a priority as that. You cannot brick the town, so there's really no negative to it. It's just kind of sitting there, and then as you get money, you can put stuff into it. Once you hit level 15, that's when you can unlock a few more, like I can't remember. It either stops at the swamp or something like that. Some of these bottom ones open up at 15. These don't open until 35, plus you have to have a population there. The trader is now unlocked, but I need a lot of money and materials for it. So if I was building my town correctly, I would have been building these materials up as I went. But once you get level 15 and you can unlock the trading post, then you can start buying the things out of the trading post, which is all of the scrolls and all that. They all give you XP boosts. And for a new account, they're very helpful, and they fit into this slot up here where your consumables are. And there's a ton of consumables. There's stuff for making fire making faster. The interval on fire making goes faster. There's some XP boosts for various skills. Make monsters go faster, the monster fight interval, stuff like that. So there's a lot of good stuff in there. There's boxes of ore and food and all kinds of other things. Really handy to have. But I don't know that I would prioritize Township as far as I did, like in my current adventure account. That was one of the first things I wanted, because I wanted that making money as soon as possible. So I would, especially on a standard or an hardcore, I would get the town rolling as fast as possible, because there it doesn't matter. As you get money, you can just put it into it. But on adventure, where you have to buy skills, I would maybe go a little bit slower. And then the other kind of complaint that I had is more of a general complaint rather than anything with Township, and that's the way mods work. And this took me a little bit. I don't want to really take this video up too long, so I'll try to quickly go through this. They recommend that you disable mods, and there is a button. If you go under My Mods, you can disable all. What I did not catch, if you click this X, this is not a disable button. It is a delete button. This actually removes the mod from this. What you have to actually do is click on the mod itself and then click this enable button to stop the mod from being enabled, or to disable the mod. I wish there was a toggle on here, like this toggle needs to be over here or something. And then you could just click on the ones you wanted to disable. Like this mod is fully compatible with this version. This one is not compatible, although it works. Everything's fine with it. It's not there yet. But you have to actually click on the mod to find the enable or disable button. It'd be nice if it was in here where it was more visible. Like these are disabled. That's why they have the line through them. So I mistakenly, these were throwing errors. Like it was, instead of saying what it needed to say, it had like item, blah, 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 blah. It was a bunch of gibberish. So I disabled these. I'd actually deleted them and had to re-add them and then disable them. And that's where I figured all this out. These all seem to work the way they are, even though they're not up to date yet. But I don't know, mileage may vary on this. The other side of the coin is these mods may never get updated. Depending on who's keeping them up, they may never get updated, which is unfortunate, because these are some good mods. And I had another mod that really cleaned up. This clean UI fixes some things, makes things smaller and makes stuff fit. And it went really well with another mod that I clicked the delete button and it doesn't exist anymore. So I had installed it at one point, and either that mod maker deleted it or it got removed off the thing or whatever. I don't know. But I lost a mod, which sucks. And what that mod did was it shrank the things on mobile, because your logout button on mobile is like the little swords up in the corner here. That would get pushed off the screen sometimes. So I would have to switch to like the bank or something to where it wasn't pushed off. And then I could click on that and switch characters. So that mod is missing and it's gone. I don't even know what it is anymore. I think I put a note of it, but it doesn't exist. So I can't have it. If I still had it here, like even though it was disabled or whatever, it wouldn't have been deleted. And it's just unfortunate that happened. Let's see here. And that's really kind of it. So to wrap all of this up, I am very positive about this. I think everybody else feels fairly positively about the way Township is ran. I have a few complaints. There's a couple annoying things with the repair all stuff. As long as you got the repair all button green and you're good to go, you're fine. It's when there's anything in there that's red that it gets really aggravating, and it's really worse on mobile than anything. But for the most part, that's like my only complaint about this. Like, I like the tasks that they've added. I think there's some real ingenuity in the casual tasks that they've done. They're not all just collect this, collect that, whatever. Some of them are actually kind of fun. Go get this and kill a monster with this shield equipped or with this weapon or whatever. I think that's kind of cool. I like the idea behind that, and maybe they'll have some really interesting ones, like go kill a melee creature with a ranged or something. I don't know, some really weird boss fight that you wouldn't normally do that way. You know, I don't know. But anyway, I think that'll do it for this. I don't really think there's anything else that I can talk about at this moment. I'm sure we're going to have some min-max guides come out about the best ones to take when and all that kind of thing. But at the moment, it just feels like you just build whatever you want, whenever you want. And then once you get the trader, you're going to have access to certain things. I did notice that in the trader, you cannot get certain things out unless you have certain levels. Like you can't get a box of ore out, like the tier 3 box of ore, unless you have certain level of mining or a certain level of smithing or whatever. You have to be certain things to get the far tiers of it. So I would assume that goes throughout the whole thing also. I just don't have the trader unlocked yet. But anyway, this video has gone on for long enough. That will do it for this one. We will catch you on the next one. Take care.